Well, I don't want to speak too soon or set myself up for failure, but are we potential title contenders here? We return for big games against Liverpool and possibly Aston Villa, two of the fellow sides in the top seven, and that big gap to Manchester United has closed significantly. We've still got games in hand as well. Yes, hello, and welcome to part 86 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We face two of the top seven today, unless we have a particularly busy deadline day, which I'm not actually expecting, because we have got ourselves into a Premier League title race and a really good position in Europe as well. Our young squad is coming of age, and some of our young superstars are developing into world-class players. And today, as we go into games against Liverpool and Villa, technically, the title race is in our hands. We're 5 points behind with 2 games in hand. Yes, we've got a difficult run coming up, but that run has already started, and so far, we've navigated it pretty well. We've also had luxuries in Europe in the FA Cup, which means we've basically rested our first team squad for 2 whole weeks now. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on today, whether that will prove to be a good decision or not, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We're going to talk through a little bit of transfer news, mainly in terms of outs at the club. We mentioned about trimming the squad. We've done that. And I don't really find the need to sign someone at the minute because we can't find players in the 1 or 2 positions we'd like to upgrade. And in the others, I'm relatively happy. So let's go through to the transfer centre because there are a couple of players who have come back from loan, Soren Hansen and David Mira, both of whom I actually intend to keep for the rest of this year. And that's because of a few other squad players that we've let go instead. So nothing on the ins, as we mentioned, but on the outs, we have been busy. At the start of the month, we knew that Fernando Fernandez was going. Let's get that one out of the way. 22 million quid. He got 10% of it, so about 20 overall. He's gone back to Brazil. He was a good player, but he just wasn't happy to fight for his place. He wasn't improving off the pitch, and other people were, so he fell down the pecking order. Cody Muir, the youngster we signed in the summer, he's gone out on loan to Ebbsfleet, one of our feeder clubs. Doing all right, actually, so far. Joe Rose, our third choice goalkeeper, to Hartlepool. He wanted to move on. Noam Perez came back from a year's loan away. He's now gone to Saudi Arabia, 3.5 million quid. We've actually done pretty well to get that. We've made a profit after a year and a bit. Got money for the loan fee as well. Again, a really good player. Did his job for us. Didn't play really any league games at all, but in the Europa League early last season was really important in part of that run. An even better deal was for 30-year-old Samuel Edozie, who as David Mira returned from loan, I tried to sell both him and Edozie, see which one we got the better offer for. No one came in for Mira because he'd already played for us and for his loan club this year, so it then came down to Edozie. A good player, but £16 million from Palace, a player we paid, 7 for. He's played for us for 3 or 4 seasons, contributed really well. Last season came in and played loads because of that big injury to Sam Ammo. And now at 30 and starting to decline, he moves on. In fact, he's just turned 31. It's a really good deal for us, I've got to be honest. He's been a good servant. I've got no bad words to say about him. But that offer is officially in the category of too good to turn down for a third or fourth choice. Another player who wanted to force their way out the door was Emir Williams. We've loaned him out to Bournemouth for the rest of the season, our former head coach club. But it also means that Soren Hansen will now be fourth choice. And to be fair, he's developing to almost the same level. Williams hasn't really got back in since he had that big injury the second half of last year. Herbert developed no end, playing half that season. We then brought in O'Day. Parker's still doing well and is homegrown at the club. So it almost just made sense for him to go and play half a season at a top championship club, get his confidence, get regular football, get back in the Wales squad as well, and then we can come back and reevaluate it in the summer. But still a good player and I think has a future at the club. So that's what we've been doing, more about outs than ins. There has been some good news on the contractual front though. We've got Sam Ammo, who looks like he's about to sign a new deal. Again, they're upping the wages slightly, but not to anything extortionate. The big one though is we had a window near the end of December where the interest in Jude Sadler from Saudi dried up, and that meant he was willing to end his unhappiness and discuss a new deal. We've over doubled his wage. 30 grand a week is still nothing for the ability he's got. We'll get a big boost if he plays for England, but for us, He's been remarkable this season. I mean, look at his Premier League rating, 7.11. The saves he makes, the work he does at the back. He's absolutely fantastic. I've got nothing but good words for him. A few others have signed new deals too. Lewis Herbert, a big long-term one. Bernberg has signed a new deal as well. He's a really good player now. Worth 100 million quid, 4.5-star ability. Still a wonder kid, but well on course to becoming a generational great in midfield. We've got other players who have signed 2 or 3 year extensions. We've just got a really handy squad at the minute. And while I'd probably be willing to let Valdo Kamara go, I'm now at a squad that I'm happy with for the rest of this season. With that in mind, let's see how they've been performing on the pitch, because if we have a look at the schedule, it's been, well, pretty good actually, I've got to be honest. You were with me for that defeat against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, but we bounced back brilliantly, didn't we, away at Sheffield United. And it was more of the same for the rest of that month. Not standout, not some of our best performances, but workmanlike, winning by a couple of goals, doing the job. At home to Brentford, Armin Mehmet got one, Joe Hugill got the second, came in and was brilliant. Because of the Sheffield United game, we rotated a few. You can see Ishmael came in, Adozi, Takatsuka, Jensen and Hugill up front. We have virtually no bench that was fit, so I just decided to rest them once we got 2 up. And then the next game it paid off because Joe Hugill came off the bench to score a brace again. Joe Wills was coming back to fitness and Joaquin Jimenez got 1 too. But more news on him later on. And actually, really good news when it comes to the strength of our squad, because the Palace game, he got sent off early for a really poor challenge. And with 10 men in the second half, we still found 2 goals and 1. We've talked about how well we finish games. We talk about our second half form. Herbert and Jensen got a goal apiece, and playing 4-4-1, we looked a great threat. Palace had a few chances, yes. Parker had to play well. Sadler was brilliant in goal. But we did enough, and winning that game was a real bonus. Because last year, we had a collapse at home to them. Away at Arsenal, a crucial 1-1 draw. It was almost better. Luke Robertson, a 90th minute equaliser after Joe Wills had opened the scoring. His first goal after injury. He did pop up with one in the next game as well. As we built our fitness in the FA Cup third round, he scored off the bench, and in this game, Crow came on, Muir came on, Hugill got a couple and Jensen got 1. We actually played a back 3 here just to rotate the squad how we could. Parker, Hansen on his return and Williams all played there. And David Mira made his return as well. And a final appearance for Fernando Fernandez before he left the club. A 6-0 win in the Premier League at home to Southampton. Teddy Ivanov rested with a couple of goals. Adamson, Bernberg and a Hugill stoppage time brace made it look even more emphatic than it was. I should give a shout out to Sadler in this game. You can see his rating there. At 0-0 the first 20 minutes, we were battered and he was phenomenal. Against Manchester United, probably the best performance of the season in my opinion. 1-0 through Teddy Ivanov early, 2 goals for Joe Wills and a late one against his former youth club for Joe Hugill. Yocolano came on the bench after injury, Sam Ammo after a virus as well. Just really nice to see people back, and with only Jimenez missing at that point, we're looking really strong, and that of course has put us back in a title race. We then made a big decision. We had 2 Champions League games. I didn't worry about the top 8. We were through. We had a League 2 team in the FA Cup, and I went, right, Teddy Ivanov, you need a holiday, go. Cameron Ishmael came back from AFCON, needed a holiday, go. We're going to rely on the reserves. And it worked to an extent. Yes, we lost 3-2 at Leipzig, but Mauricio got a goal. Takatsuka, he managed to get one as well as we fought back from 3-0 down. Jimenez did pick up a knock though, playing because of his domestic suspension. But it didn't work out for us, did it, on that front? Alex Crow again got game time. 3-0 in the 4th round of the FA Cup on Wednesday. Mauricio built his fitness up further. Mira got his first goal on return. And Joe Hugill just doing it again. The boy does not stop. And then in the Juventus game, do you know what? Rasmus Jensen stole the show. We were behind at half-time, having not had a shot and being outplayed. Caljo in his defence kept us in the game. Zoran Hansen did well second half. Adamson came on though and set up the goals for Jensen, who stole the show by winning it in extra time. That proved to be one of the most important ones, because if we go to the competitions, we slipped out. There must have been a game afterwards then, because we were in 8th. Real Madrid have gone past us. They were 9th. So they must have picked up a win later on. And we've drawn Luton in the 5th round of the FA Cup, who are a League One side. I mean, it's starting to feel like a friendly kind of run for us. And at the moment, all is looking pretty good. But for now, it's all about a big game against Liverpool. We'll get the Villa 1 in 2 if deadline day's quiet. But let's have a look at what we can put out. United have laid down the mark-up with a big win today. But we're almost in a position where we don't have to worry about the top 4. Certainly don't have to worry about the top 6. It's just about trying to get results here and have a laugh, because we could get ourselves into prime position. We mentioned most of these have had 2 weeks off. Liverpool have gone for a much younger side this year. Only Ben Doak of the originals expected to start. And if you look at the team we've got here, Ukulano rebuilding his fitness. He'll stay on the bench today. But everyone else is pretty much first choice. The only player missing out is Jimenez, I think. But he's almost back anyway. I'm definitely going to be starting Teddy Ivanov ahead of Mauricio, no matter what they tell me to do. And then the only other one that's potentially looking at coming in is the likes of Joe Hugill onto the bench and Cameron Ishmael, who returns from time away. So we're going to fiddle with the bench, but that will be our 11. Back in a minute when we've done so to confirm the team for today. Well, a couple of surprise decisions on the bench potentially, but I've got some thought process behind it. A bit of logic to my madness. So I've gone Asensio over Baranda as the sub right back, because Asensio will also then be a second sub centre midfielder, and he'll also be a second choice sub right winger if for any reason we're comfortable or comfortably behind and we don't want to risk Ukulano. We've also put Jensen on the bench ahead of Mauricio. Mauricio's returned from injury and played 3 games in a week. I know he's not played all the minutes, but he's featured in them all. And Jensen was the star in midweek and should be confident. So why not have him there? We can't not have Hugill, who's on 10 already. So this is the team we're going for. It is Jude Sadler in goal. Only one player unhappy in the 11 now. Beric wants 80 grand a week though. Ain't happening. The Angelis and Memic, the fullbacks, with O'Day and Herbert centre-half. Bit worried about O'Day's form this year, but he'll get there. It'll take a bit of time. In midfield is Adamson and Takatsuka out wide, with Bernberg and Berek in the middle. And then Teddy Ivanov and Joe Wills reunited. But can they stay in top form together? Through to the Liverpool game we go. At home we have been brilliant in the league this year. But can we deliver against one of the big boys and one of the younger teams we're going to be coming up against? Ben Doak is the skipper up front. No originals on the bench either, actually. They've really gone for it with a youthful team this year. We know they had administration, 18 months ago. They lost a lot of their experience then. And it looks like they've gone for a much younger feel to their team. And to be fair, they're still competitive in the European places. Marco Rose doing a good job at the moment. But what can Liverpool produce here as we go straight from the kick-off? They're playing a back 3 there. It suggested it was going to be a 4. Dodgson gets it at right back, goes inside to Suarez. It's up to Brook and Sato. This is not an ideal start. I know we finished games strong, but I'd rather not be 1-0 down every time. Sadler watches it go over the bar though, and it stays goalless in the late kickoff. As we've got a throw at right back with Memic, who is really starting to become a proper wonder kid now as well. I say as he gives the ball away from a throw-in. Marginson intercepted. Why did I talk him up? Commentators curse, we're a goal down. It's a great finish, but we have not helped ourselves there. I'm going to berate the lads. I will still show you Memic for that. He's now 4-star ability. He's going to become a gem. Maybe needs to work on his throwing technique though. 10 minutes on the clock, Liverpool lead. But no panic stations yet. We're good going forward. As Memic throws in for Takatsuka. Great ball round the corner for Bernberg. He tries to dink it over the keeper into the far corner. He was aware to it, but lovely idea. And some nice football from that attacking throw. Atabolu with the goal kick for Liverpool downfield. Smith loses out to Memic, and now Takatsuka can go on a mazy run. Chooses not to though, and turns back. And Memic opts to go inside for O'Day, who will start again. Herbert into midfield for Berek. Incidentally, with Williams leaving, Herbert is now the club captain, as Wills plays in Adamson, who's really growing into his shirt. Good effort. And again, the goalkeeper holds it. Some lovely football from Southend though, and you can see a team that's pretty well knitted together. Having said that, we've got a corner to defend as Ben Doak. Got 2 short options here. I'm a bit concerned. Big ball into the back post. Costello's up. Herbert up, but not away. And Costello again can shoot. Just wide. They're dangerous, Liverpool. They're a threat on the counter. And they're a big threat from set pieces. And with 15 gone, they've had the best chances of the match. Well, 27 on the clock. And we've got a free kick just inside the opposition half. As Berek works it to Wills and towards Ivanov. It was my one worry with resting everyone. Like, Ivanov's been on a 2-week holiday. Ishmael's been on a 1-week one. It was just whether we were a little bit disjointed and rusty at first. I mean, some of the moves going forward have been great. The goal was an individual error. I don't think I'm too panicked about it, but It's not our best first half display when you consider how we played against United 2 weeks ago. As Mezat picks it up in the middle, player we've tried to sign before, Herbert intercepts his through ball, and Wills will bring it away to Adamson on the left. Has support from behind but decides to go alone. Great turn of pace there and inside to Wills again. Adamson's in support as is Ivanov, but Wills tries to go alone. Goes for the Hollywood effort and it just goes wide. We've encouraged the lads to get spirits up. With half an hour gone, from one shot on target for Liverpool, we trail at home to them. Well, 5 to the break. We're back with Liverpool in possession from their own goal kick as Mezat gets it at left back again. Cutting into that midfield, we've seen that a few times as Doak holds it up well. They've got a 2-on-1 out wide as Brook gets in. Options in the middle, but he goes for the shot. Stadler almost knocked off his feet by that one. And makes a really good save. It's out for a corner kick. We've got more defending to do. We've been a worry from these. And Doak into the front post. It's a free header for Brook. No players going short this time, but we failed to deal with it. And at half time, it looks like we're going to be trailing. We are a strong side in the second half, but we're going to need more than that. We're going to need a bit less nerves from Ivanov and Sadler, two of the important players here. Got faith in you both, and they look happy. Now let's see if they can prove that point. Only a couple of shots on target each. It's not like we've been battered here. We've just not had that spark of magic as O'Day finds Herbert in the centre circle. We're camped in their half early in the second period. As Berek goes back to Herbert, waiting for the right ball. De Angelis to Adamson and Joe Wills. De Angelis again. Back into Herbert. I think it is a bit of a harm to us that Liverpool are leaving two up front because if our fullbacks go forward, we get in trouble. When we can break through them, we're going to get opportunities. As here is Wills to De Angelis. Wills again dropping into that hole. Finds Adamson, who's one-on-one with a fullback. Chance to take him on. Finds a great through ball. Joe Wills in. It's a good save, but you've got to say it was fairly central, almost straight at him. Joe Wills not been in the same goal-scoring form this year. Could have found either corner at his best. As it's up to the back post, he loses the header as well. Teddy Ivanov will try and recycle it. Surges down the right. Options in the middle. Up to the back post. Wills goes. Keeper comes. And he dives on the floor. Wins the free kick. Cons the referee. This stays 1-0. But promising start to the half. Having said that, Liverpool are straight down the other end. Throwing in our half with Meza on the left. They work it back to their own goalkeeper. And it's out to Heinz again in defence. Into midfield for Suarez. With Preston, they've beaten it pretty comfortably. Here is Dodgson to Marginson. On the right-hand side, they're definitely exploiting us out wide where we're pushing forward. And at the back, they've got time on the ball. We're not pressing them as well. That 2-on-3. Doak gets himself wide to the right. He's drifting everywhere. And he's dragging people out of position. Doak to the byline. Back to Cuero. Brook again. 25 yards out. Chance to shoot. Good save, Sadler. We are largely restricting them to efforts from distance, but problem is they've scored one of them. And we've now got to find something, which doesn't look like it's coming. Might be signed for Super Joe Hugill soon, because at the moment, he is the goal-scoring striker at the club. Another corner kick for Liverpool. Only 10 gone in a second. This has turned into a bit of a thriller, hasn't it? Despite only being 1-0. We're getting done by the short corner again, though. Doak's ball into the back post. Herbert away. Back in, but it ends the highlight. We must have done enough. Not that it was an ideal time to end it. We're 25 to go. We're going to gamble on some changes. Joe Wills off for Super Joe Hugill. Harrison on for Berek. In fact, it won't be Berek. It will be Bernberg. He's not been at his best today. And we're also going to take off Takatsuka and throw on Julian Yucolano, who would be first choice normally. 3 changes made. We'll save a couple for later. It's been a fairly even game, but Liverpool just starting to turn the screw again. And Sadler forced into another save from that free kick. Just looking at Memic on a booking at right back. Might have to bring Asensio on in a minute. We'll see out the corner first. Make sure it doesn't go in. Hassan's header comfortably wide. That'll be our 4th change. Only one more roll of the dice to go. We've got Jensen. We've got other options. But how are we going to get them all in a team? Let's try and throw a bit of encouragement. I'd just like to nick something at this point. Adamson's knackered with 10 to go. He's given everything. So that will be the final one. Sam Ammo will come on. We're going to go positive. We're going to try and push. But it's Liverpool with a free kick on the right. Or the throw-in, sorry. They work it inside to Craddock and back to Heinz. Get my set pieces mixed up when commentating a lot this week, aren't I? Heinz to the byline in. Back post. Herbert away. Sam Ammo can't get there though. and Aslan's beating him with the first touch. Ammo follows him, but it's into the box. Herbert away. Sam Ammo can now clear it. It's not the best of passes. Harrison to Herbert again. Now he can break away. Ammo goes back to De Angelis. Into midfielder Harrison. Again, not enough on the ball. Put a bit of meat on the pass, man. Out to Sam Ammo on the left and into Hugill. Now we're off. Hugo in the centre circle. Good centre forward play. Switches to Asensio, who can storm forward. Yocolano's inside, but Asensio goes to the byline. Ball in towards Joe Hugill. He's almost at it again. Just wide of the far post. He tried to get it back across, but couldn't quite get enough on the ball. Liverpool playing out from the back, but Joe Hugill a threat in the box. You can see Ivanov knackered again. Come on, you had a 2-week break, lad. You're only just back from holiday. Craddock goes back to Heinz. Craddock again. Forward towards O'Day, who does really well there. Harrison up to Hugill, who knocks it down for Sam Ammo. Two boys that have been here for ages. As Ammo gets down the left. Great ball into Teddy Ivanov. Oh, he's not missed that. The offside flag goes up to spare his blushes. That is about the best chance we've had all day. But you can see we are now throwing men forward. Harrison to Asensio and Yocolano. Feels like it might be coming. Ivanov shot blocked behind. Think you're getting another indicator of why we're so strong late in games, why we score so many late goals, because we are relentless with the pressure. As Sam Ammo's got the corner to the back post, Herbert's up, just beaten to it, the new skipper. Another corner. Come on, lads, you've got one last push in you. The morale's up, the fitness is not, but Sam Ammo's got the outswinging corner. There's 6 in the middle, 3 on the edge. O'Day and Herbert both up again. Another corner. The pressure continues. 90 seconds plus stoppage time. 5 minutes added. We're going attacking now. But I'm not sure, despite having 3 times the expected goals, that we're going to get the points. A really encouraging performance, but ultimately one mistake has cost us. Not going to worry based on that result. Let's get ahead to the Aston Villa game, or in fact, first deadline day, because if there's a few offers there, that could yet steal the show. Well, Sam Ammo has signed his new contract, and we are here for the knockout round draw in the Champions League. I'm not going to bore you with it. You know who we can face already, but let's find out who we will be drawn with together. We have got AS Monaco away from home, who finished 24th, but are a side with pretty good reputation and a number of decent players. We'll meet them next month. That means the Luton game has been moved, and it means our next episode... actually, that's worked out perfectly, because we'll show the second leg of Monaco and Manchester City at home. Unless the Spurs game is more important, which I'm not sure it is. One day to deadline day, though, which I think will be the final action of this episode. It's been an action-packed one. Let's get through to it and see if we have to fend off any bids, because both of our star strikers are wanted. There's a few others that are potentially going to get offers. We're still waiting to see if some Saudi clubs come in for the likes of Martin Baranda. Well, as we reach deadline day, it's really important that some of the teams behind us keep slipping up as well. And Villa held away at Brighton. If we're only losing to the top sides, then that's great news for us. Everton apparently going to chase Joe Wills. We're apparently going to put down a record transfer for Jeremy Doku at 31. I'm not quite sure about that. Who else have we been linked with? Matt Cox, who's on loan at Real Madrid from Arsenal. And Celtic going for Valdo Kamara, who, to be fair, is the one player I would be happy to let go this time. So let's make the offer for him. We'll loan him out for 100% of his wages. We'll see if anything else gets done. We have been linked with Lee Marshall, a player who I'd like to sign in a realistic long term as my left back, but I don't think we're going to be affording him now for 45 million. Matt Cox on loan at Real Madrid is a great left winger, but Adamson is getting there and will match his ability. And as we've seen with the likes of Bernberg, as we've seen with Herbert, as we're now seeing with Memic as well, if we stick with these youngsters and let them develop, they're going to become superstars in their own right. So let's take part in deadline day, 15 hours to go. Unless something too good to refuse pops up, I don't think there'll be any ins. But will there be 1 or 2 outs and 1 or 2 tough goodbyes? Back in a moment to find out. Well, evidently, our director of football wasn't listening to us a minute ago, because he went and made a bid for Lee Marshall of 57 million, which I wouldn't be paying, and wasn't accepted anyway. We have, though, had a bit of a tempter with the scout reports. A player we've been looking at a while. Just a really good player. He's 6'1", not the best physically, but good enough technically, very good mentally. We're just seeing if we get those loan offers for Kamara and for Rasmus Jensen. And if we do, Kelso Young could come in for the rest of this season. with a view to being the long-term replacement for Joe Hugill. So keep your eyes peeled on this one, but for now, no offers just yet. Well, a bit of an interesting one out of nowhere. Our director of football has gone for a 32-year-old Rennes left back who is out of contract this summer on a free. Now, he's a very good player, he's an excellent footballer, and he's played nearly 400 games for his current club. But my question is, how good will he be when he gets here in the summer? And the answer is probably not good enough and on a massive wage. So I'm not going to do that deal, no matter what happens there in the end. This is a player I really wanted. He wasn't willing to join us. He's now discussing terms with Dortmund. 18-year-old centre-half at Basel who looks like he's going to be the proper real deal. Is he interested in joining at all? Well, apparently he is, so I'm going to go for him, to be honest. I think we might have a couple of signings after all today. Let's get this deal done. Minimum fee release, 7.75. Transfer budget is not a worry. Should be granted a work permit on appeal. We'll try and get that one done. We'll probably miss out to Dortmund. We have got loan offers for Valdo Kamara as well. Benfica coming in with 90% plus 10 grand a month. And Celtic's offer, basically the same. Will you pay the whole wage? Yes, you will. So we'll accept both of those. It'll get good football elsewhere. And he'll come back ready in the summer to be sold or to come and play for us again. Lots of news that I didn't expect to have. 11 hours to go. Could be a thrilling deadline day yet. Well, we might be able to make our other move as well because we've got lots of loan offers when it comes to Rasmus Jensen. We're going to ignore those who don't want him to be a regular starter. So Norwich are one of those. The rest are all saying he's going to play plenty. We've got Rangers who are coming in with a full wage offer. We'll give one to each of the Old Firm clubs, shall we? And importantly, they're covering all the wages. Same for Preston. They're paying a decent fee, but I'd rather just have the wage, which is fine. We've also got the offer from Celtic. Don't know what the rules are on loaning more than one player from a club. I presume abroad it would be all right. We'll suggest that, which is also absolutely fine. And we had two more at the top. Coventry, they'll be happy to pay the wages, I'm sure. And then the final one was Bristol City, who are already offering more. So I can't see that being a problem at all. 5 clubs with offers accepted. And that means we're going in for the man at the start of the day. Kelso Young, 11.25 million. I mean, look at it. I said at the start of the day, can't see anyone coming in. Now, I'm trying to sign 2 players for 20 million quid. You can never keep me quiet on a transfer deadline day. Well, the first good news is that Rakowski has agreed to join us over Borussia Dortmund, but he's lost his work permit, so we're going to have to appeal it. Hopefully it gets done before the deadline. We've picked up 2 injuries, which are both fairly little, which is great, but there's no news on the other ones yet. So hopefully things get better soon. And there is the first big news. Christian Rakowski has accepted the deal after his work permit has been granted on appeal. 7.75 million, 25 grand a week for the Wonder Kid. And he is in already 3-star ability and 5-star potential. We have found an absolute gem. A young Swiss player with bundles of ability. And looking at the way he plays, real excitement for the future. Because he's great on the ball. We can play out from the back and really push our style onto the next level. Good personality, brilliant player. Cannot wait to work with him. Well, the second bit of news, I'm afraid, is not so good. We have lost out on Kelso Jung to Arsenal, who offers 77 grand a week. We can't really compete with that. We're still missing out to the top clubs in Europe when it comes to the big signings. Director of football still going for rubbish goalkeepers. But the good news off the pitch, youth level to be increased to Category 1. We've been waiting a while to get to the top level there. So hopefully we'll start to produce our own players next. But 1 out of 2 players that could leave the club. We've got 2 hours of deadline day remaining. See if anything else goes through. Well, how about the most uninspiring deal of the day to finish us off? We've got a 5 grand deal for a new third choice goalkeeper just to stop the director of football bidding. Luke Davis from Leicester looks better than the dross he's been going for the rest of the day. It's a bit younger, lower wage demands. 5.5 grand a week with a 5 grand fee. As a third choice keeper, just to cover all bases, I feel like we're all going to be okay. Let's see how bad he is. 1.5 star ability, League 2 level. Oh, he's alright. He's not much worse than Joe Rose and a younger keeper with a fairly professional personality. Actually, that suits me down to the ground. So we'll register him for the squad. I've got no problems with him whatsoever. We don't need to do it for the other one, Rakowski. The deadline day has gone well here. We've added 1 superstar centre-half for the future. Well, the transfer deadline passes, and again, the story has more been about outs than in this window. We've still got those 2 loan deals that could go through. Kamara will definitely accept. Rasmus Jensen, we probably will as well. Rakowski comes in on deadline day for 7.75 million. Going to be probably a future captain and a future centre-half for this club. Luke Davis comes in as a cheap goalkeeper, and then loads of players go out. But you look at Adozie for 16 million, Perez for 3.5, Fernandes for 22. I mean, it's great business overall. Really thrilled with where we are. We've still got the 3rd lowest wage bill in the league. We're currently sitting 2nd in the Premier Division, having just been FM'd by Liverpool and being disappointed by it. So that's where we are in the table. We're probably not going to win the title. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but we're in a great chance for the top 4. And at the moment, we're still in with a great shout of 2nd. We've got a difficult month coming up with Monaco, a tough tie in the Champions League. Spurs, Chelsea, Villa, City, all sure to provide tests in the Premier League. A busier deadline day than expected means we'll also be back a bit quicker as well. Monaco in the 2nd leg of the Champions League playoff, and then Manchester City at home, last season's champions, sure to be a tough test after our 1-1 draw at the Etihad a few episodes ago. If you enjoyed this one, though, a great performance, not rewarded with a result against Liverpool, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know what you think of the new Swiss superstar centre-half and the one we missed out on up front. And of course, let me know if you think we'll stay in the top 4 and could we go one further and challenge for that title. I'm more optimistic at the moment that we might nick an FA Cup with the run we've had there so far. All EFL opposition so far. Let's hope that continues. If you want to stay up to date and see how the season finishes and how we compete on all 3 fronts, then please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with this one on Tuesday after the head coach returns on Monday afternoon. A very big finish to our season there. Do make sure you come and join us for it. There's also links in the eye above to that playlist, the Twitch channel for regular live streams, and the football podcast for content and predictions galore during the run into all the season. So please do come and get involved with the prediction shows there. We have plenty of light-hearted fun in the comments, and I'll see you again here next time on Tuesday to return for 2 big home games across 2 competitions.